introduced Omicron subvariant BA.2.12.1. Authorities are also warning the public of another possible surge in a month or two due to low booster uptake, waning immunity, and new variants.
Madali daw makahawa itong BA.2.12.1. Ayoko namang magkasakit, mahirap pa ospital. Siyempre natatakot ako mahawa. Saka matanda na ako eh. Konti na lang ang aking taon na yan. Gusto ko mag-enjoy. Gusto ko pumunta sa ibang bansa. Paano ko pupunta kung nahawa ko? Ditigok na.
Private caregiver Reyma Gonzalez has also been looking forward to a second booster. She's taking care of a stroke patient.
To protect myself first before I taking care of others din po. Kasi po, yung mga kasama ko po sa bahay is mga seniors din po.
Unlike those with select underlying illnesses who may pick from 5 vaccine brands for their second booster shot, medical frontliners and senior citizens may choose between Pfizer and Moderna 4 months from their first booster.
There are only data that is available for mRNA and no data yet, but hopefully waiting also for the data for the other platforms. It's important to base the recommendation on data driven, so that we have an idea how much protection that this population will get.
San Juan City government estimates 3,000 healthcare workers will get a second booster within the next 5 days and 15,000 senior citizens in 2 weeks.
Kung mabilis naman natin ma-roll out, tayo makikipag-ugnayan sa DOH. Kung pwedeng magtuloy-tuloy na kami sa ibang kategorya. If the DOH will allow us to expand, then we will expand. If they tell us to wait, then we will wait.
Almost all Metro Manila cities are now giving a second booster, except for Las Piñas, which will begin on Monday. Caroline Bongkin, CNN Philippines.
Research experts see an uptick in new COVID-19 cases in Metro Manila. The Octa Research Group explains the daily average number of new infections in the region rose to 71 from 59, or by 19% in the May 13 to 19 period, compared with the previous week. But Octa notes Metro Manila remains at low risk for COVID-19. The Health Department confirms the uptick but says its data indicate the increase was just by 17%. DOH explains its records show Metro Manila logged an average of 69, not 71, new cases daily the past week. It adds the slight increase does not translate into admissions or utilization rates of hospital beds. The World Health Organization greenlights another brand of COVID-19 vaccine. Chinese pharmaceutical firm CanSino now has an emergency use listing for its Convidecia vaccine. Convidecia is administered as a single dose and recommended for those 18 and above. The vaccine was found to have 64% efficacy against symptomatic disease and 92% against severe COVID-19. North Korea's fever cases have surpassed 2 million since late April. State media, Korean Central News Agency, first announced the country's Omicron variant cases on May 12th. This week alone, more than 200,000 fever cases were reported, but the COVID-19 tally remains at 168 as of May 14th. Leader Kim Jong-un has made the rounds of pharmacies and ordered the military to help stabilize medicine supply. State media reports Kim strongly criticized the cabinet and the public health sector for how they handled the crisis. In the United States, health officials closely monitoring 6 possible monkeypox cases after close contact with an infected traveler on a flight from Nigeria early this month. Officials are also investigating a confirmed case in Massachusetts who recently traveled to Canada. Monkeypox is a disease that is rare in humans. Symptoms begin like the flu. Within 1 to 3 days after a fever, the patient develops a rash on the face that spreads to the rest of the body. The illness typically lasts 2 to 4 weeks. On Thursday, Spain and Italy confirmed their first cases of monkeypox, while France announced its first suspected case. Back here at home, agriculture officials have warned that global food crisis could soon hit the country. But for some groups, this is nothing new. Tristan Adalo traces back some of the challenges faced by various agriculture industries through the years.
From the Russia-Ukraine war to COVID-19 impact, high fuel costs,
and Indonesia's ban on palm oil exports, all this are contributing to the so-called perfect storm for agricultural products, with the Agriculture Department saying that the food crisis is simply a matter of time.
Ito po ay puro warning para lang tayo ay magbalat buto lahat para hindi mangyari dito sa Pilipinas.
But what exactly does a food crisis mean to ordinary Filipinos, a large number of whom are already going hungry?
Una, mag-start yan, may mabibili, pero kung kulang ang supply, di tataas yung presyo. Pangalawa, kung hindi tayo magtanim at maitaas ang ating local food production, di kulang yung pagkain.
Some groups say they have long sounded the warning bells.
Yung pagpapabaya sa sektor na agrikultura, dekada na yan. In fairness to Secretary Tar, hindi lang naman sa kanya nagsimula yan. Kanya lang, he implemented the import liberalization doctrines of our economies to the health.
Poultry raisers say they are still reeling from the pandemic's impact, and skyrocketing prices of feeds have pushed some farmers to cut down production or totally quit the industry.
Nangyayari na eh. Dati-dati ang puhunan namin ng isang taon, 85, 80 kada kilo sa buhay. Ngayon, yung 100, kulang eh. Sa iklog, marami nang tumitigil. Napakataas na ng puhunan. Yung mais is 50% higher. Yung soya is 30% higher. Yung cocoa oil, dati 50 pesos lang yan, 40 pesos. Ngayon, 90 to, kuminsan, nagwa 110 yan eh.
While there is so much focus on rice production and importation, corn farmers, on the other hand, are airing their share of woes.
Ang farmer willing naman talaga to supply, willing naman talaga na magtanim. Pero siyempre kailangan may akibat na mga tulong, lalo na sa palisiya po. Kasi ang palisiya natin ngayon po, kung kulang tayo talaga import na lang po.
Lack of subsidies and proper implementation of laws to boost local production are just two of the reasons why we are experiencing a food crisis, according to a fisheries group.
Dahil komplikado ang ang problema, dapat ang gobyerno ay marunong makinig sa sektor. Yan yung wala.
Other groups claim that the agriculture chief's warning is more of a political move, but Secretary Dar chooses to defer comment on the matter.
Some groups fear that the worst is yet to come if the next administration won't immediately address the crisis on food production and supply. They can only hope that the next set of leaders will focus on local food production rather than importation. Tristan Odalo, CNN Philippines.
Straight ahead on Newsnight, U.S. President Joe Biden embarks on his first tour of Asia as the Western superpower tries to counter a rising China. And one UAAP champion is giving back to his community after clinching a historic title. Details after the break.
RPN DXKP Pagadian. Ang inyong Radyo Ronda. RPN. RPN. Radio Philippines Network. Radio Philippines Network. Live to the world. Pinaagi sa FB page. Karon, mag-download na. Pinaagi sa Google Play o Apple Store, YouTube o Twitter. Alang sa mas ipakuskan ng mga balita, komentaryo, kasayuran o kalingawan. Ang mas ipakuskan ng inyong Radyo Ronda. Member, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Welcome back to CNN Philippines. The legal counsel of presumptive President Bongbong Marcos tells petitioners challenging his candidacy to file an election protest instead of asking the Supreme Court to stop the canvassing of votes set next week. Former Solicitor General Estelito Mendoza says the High Court has no jurisdiction to stop vote canvassing because the Constitution is clear about the process after election, such as the transmission and canvassing of votes and the proclamation of winners. Election protests can only be filed by losing candidates after the proclamation.
Constitution deals with this situation step by step, and there is no way, no discretion given on any intervening matter in this process.
Former Supreme Court spokesperson Theodore Te, who represents the petitioners against Marcos, clarifies that they do not want the canvassing to stop totally.
What we have asked the court is not to restrain the canvassing itself. We have only asked that any restraint be focused directly only on the particular candidacy of Mr. Marcos. Malinaw naman po ang Section 4 that this is what is supposed to happen next, no? After the elections that Congress will convene. We're only asking that the court stop the canvassing as far as the particular candidacy is concerned.
Senate President Tito Soto and Senate Minority Leader Franklin Drilon also said the Supreme Court cannot stop the canvassing of votes. Soto said doing that would be, quote, courting a constitutional crisis. The Commission on Elections citizen arm, the Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting, or PPCRV, is wrapping up its manual audit of election returns at its command center tonight. Tristan Nadalo returns live from the University of Santo Tomas to give us an update. Tristan, what happens next?
The manual audit for election returns of the PPCRV will continue even if they will cease operations here in their command center in USC at 8 p.m. What will happen now is that the PPCRV will just transfer their operations into their original command center at Pope Pius Center in Manila. And while the venue is much smaller, so it remains to be seen on how many volunteers will they need for their command center, which will begin operations starting next week. Now let's go to the numbers. As of 5 p.m., the PPCRV has so far received 93,347 election returns. That's 86.6% of the total election returns they need for the manual audit and validation process. Now, in terms of match rate, the PPCRV records 98.6% match rate in over 78,000 encoded election returns. A high percentage means there's no discrepancy between physical and electronic election returns. The poll watchdog sees no signs of cheating and anomalies in the results so far. Four ERs did not match with the transparency server. One came from Masbate, 2 from Quezon Province, and 1 from Lapu-Lapu City. These issues have been elevated to the Commission on Elections. Right now, Pia, a program is ongoing for the volunteers as they before the closing of the command center. So far, they are not expecting to validate more election returns because of the bad weather. Back to you, Pia.
Tristan Nodalo there reporting from the PPCRV Command Center in Manila. Today marks the 5th anniversary of the Marawi siege. The task force Bangon Marawi says rehabilitation of the war-torn city is more than 70% complete, with a number of infrastructure projects now standing where rubble used to be. But as George Gilas tells us, residents wishing to return home.
This is Marawi City, 5 years since the war between government troops and multi-ISIS group. Cultural center, sports complex, mosques, road networks, and other infrastructure projects were already built right at the heart where the firefight took place. But what's missing in the city being rehabilitated are the very people who were displaced, the Maranaos who are yearning to come back home.
Ilang beses kaming pinangakuan na babalik, masakit siya na reality kasi pangako siyang napako. Pangakong pinapako paulit-ulit.
Based on the April 2022 report of the Task Force Bangon Marawi, there are over 17,000 displaced families from the most affected area. Of the over 2,700 applications to rebuild their homes, the city government of Marawi has issued permits to over 1,200. of which only 95 homes were repaired and over 360 still in construction. The local government says the establishment of power and water lines are still ongoing, which are essential in the return of displaced families.
We are ready to accept applicants for building permits so that they can start rebuilding their houses in those sectors na nalagyan na ho natin ng elektrifikasyon.
If we will allow them to just come in without any regulatory powers being imposed by the city government, it will be chaotic. Ang problema kasi sa iba, ayaw dumaan sa proseso na tama. Mag-aaway-away lang sila dahil there are so many claimants in 1 or 2 lots.
The government says rebuilding a war-torn city is a daunting task, and they have to make sure that they do this correctly, the fastest way they can.
Maganda na there are series of inaugurations, pero sana din balikan natin yung sitwasyon ng mga IDPs. Kumustahin sana natin sila. Mas maganda sana na kasama sa commemoration, no? Is yung celebration na masabi ng mga IDPs na maayos yung buhay nila, but it's not.
These rubble will always be a reminder of the adversity the war has caused to the people of Marawi. Once cleared and new structures are built, the Maranao say that that's the only time that they can regain their dignity and live in peace. From Marawi City, George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
News overseas, the United States is keeping a close watch on North Korea as U.S. President Joe Biden makes the rounds in Asia for the first time to boost alliances. But officials are worried North Korea may fuel a long-range missile while Biden is in South Korea or Japan. They say security measures are in place for the U.S. president. Biden is now in Seoul, where he's expected to meet with his counterpart before heading to Tokyo for talks with Japanese, Australian, and Indian leaders. China is conducting high-intensity drills in the Philippine Sea. A report from the South China Morning Post says the Liaoning aircraft carrier has been holding fighter jet exercises waters east of the country since late last month. Military analysts say the drills will help in the training and operations of the Chinese Navy once they acquire more advanced carriers. About 200 sorties were reportedly carried out during the first 10 days of the exercise. Back here at home, the country's main international gateway named the world's worst business class airport. The Ninoy Aquino International Airport scored 0.88 out of 10 in a survey by global luggage storage provider Bounce. The airport flunked in various categories, including on-time performance and a number of destinations. NAIA has yet to comment on the matter. United Kingdom's Heathrow Airport emerged as the best in business class services, followed by Japan's Haneda Airport and Singapore's Changi Airport. Filipino travelers will soon be able to visit South Korea again. The South Korean Embassy in Manila announces the resumption of the short-term tourist or C39 visa and other visas beginning June 1st. Travelers granted with the C39 visa can stay in Seoul for up to 3 months. No details yet on the application, but consent for isolation will no longer be required. Coming up, this UAAP star is paying it forward to GP drivers serving the UP community in Diliman. And in Hanoi, Team Philippines bags back-to-back gold medals for esports and weightlifting. Keep it here on Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
RPN DXKP Pagadian, ang inyong Radyo Ronda. RPN Radio Philippines Network. Radio Philippines Network. Live to the world, pinaagi sa FB page karon. Mag-download na pinaagi sa Google Play o Apple Store, YouTube o Twitter. Alang sa mas ipakuskan ng mga balita, komentaryo, kasayuran o kalingawan. Ang mas ipakuskan ng inyong Radyo Ronda.
Member, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Welcome back. Pop superstar and makeup mogul Rihanna is now a mother. A source close to Rihanna and her partner, rapper A$AP Rocky, confirmed that the two have welcomed their first child. The couple went public with their relationship in May last year. And 3 beauty queens go from pageant royalty to Disney princesses. Take a look at Miss Universe Philippines Celeste Cortesi, styled as Cinderella, with previous title holders Rabia Mateo as Ariel from The Little Mermaid and Beatriz Gomez as Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Renowned photographer BJ Pascual shot these photos for a makeup brand. In sports, UAAP champion and basketball star gives back to the UP community after clinching a historic title. Fighting Maroon Richie Rivero raised 200,000 pesos for the UP Ikot Drivers Association, whose livelihoods were affected by the pandemic. Under his fundraiser, Buckets of Hope, Rivero pledged 250 pesos per point he scored in his final playing year in the league. This season, UP also won its first championship in 36 years.
Yung sa championship, that's really the main goal. Etong sa Buckets of Hope naman, bonus na lang din siya kasi sana makatulong naman siya and makagawa naman at least ng something to tell them na may nag-iisip pa rin sa kanila kahit na papaano.
Sobra po ang tulong na ito na nanggaling kay Rizky. At ito ay sa kapakinabangan ng mga pamilya ng ating mga miyembro. Nakakaya din, kahit na yung tulong ay kusang loob na ibinibigay, ay mas gusto po namin kami yung sariling naghahanap ng pagkakakitaan.
Rivero scored 257 points in 19 games, becoming Season 84's top scorer. Several donors also contributed to raise the amount. Some Filipino athletes successfully defended their titles in the Southeast Asian Games in Vietnam today. Olympic gold medalist Heidelin Diaz bags another gold. The weightlifter retains her crown in the women's 55-kilogram category at the regional meet. And Team Seaball emerges victorious against rival Indonesia again this year in Mobile Legends Bang Bang, bagging gold in the esports event. The two countries also faced off in the 2019 Grand Finals. The Philippines is assured of both a gold and silver in both men's and women's 10-ball singles in billiards after Filipino athletes won the semis. It's a rematch between Johan Chua and Carlo Biado in the men's finals tomorrow following Wednesday's 9-ball match, while Rubilen Amit and Cheska Centeno are competing in the women's category. For hoops fans, Gilas Pilipinas plays against Malaysia tomorrow at 12 p.m. The team is 2 wins away from its 14th straight gold medal finish, remaining undefeated throughout the tournament so far. Gilas beat host Vietnam last night 88-60, marking the squad's first loss this year. But Team Philippines remains at 5th place overall behind Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, and Singapore. The country's medal tally stands at 181, including 42 gold medals. And that is it for tonight. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pia Ontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
Collagen is one of the latest buzzwords in skin health. You might find collagen drinks, creams, and supplements in the market. But what is collagen really, and why is it important to our body? On the program today, we'll break down the functions of the collagen in our body and share some ways on how to increase natural collagen production. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and welcome to Med Talk Health Talk on CNN Philippines. Our guests are here today to help us understand what collagen really is. With us is Dr. Charles Abraham Villamin. He's an orthopedic surgeon from the University of Santo Tomas Hospital. We're also joined by Dr. Raiza Francisco Pasion, who is a dermatologist at Skin Dermatology and Laser Center and U Plus Intelligent Aesthetics. Thank you both for joining us on the program. So collagen is our focus for this episode because a lot of our viewers are calling in and asking really if the collagen that they get from different sources is that effective. So collagen is one of the most abundant proteins in the human body. It's found in our bones, our muscles, our skin, especially our tendons. Now, collagen is also the substance that holds the body together, forming a sort of scaffold to provide strength as well as structure. Dr. Charles, when someone sees the word collagen, what exactly is it?
Collagen is a major protein that's found in all your connective tissues. It's a very general term. So it goes with your bone, with your tendons, with the lining of your organs. So it's a very general term. And most of the collagen that we talk about in public space is the collagen type 1, which is the one that is found in our bone, in our muscles, in our tendons. But the other one is a collagen type 2, which is found in the end of the joints or the cartilage. That's another type of collagen. There are actually so many types of collagens in the body.
So there's actually some around at least 4 types of collagen in our body. Here we're talking about types 1 and 2 found in our bones, connective tissue. And we're also going to talk about type 3 collagen, which is found in our skin. Dr. Riza, when we talk about collagen in our skin, what are we talking about here? What is its main function?
And so our skin has 3 layers, the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous tissue, or where the fat is. Majority of the collagen in our skin, it's found in the dermis, that's the middle layer. And more than 80% of the collagen found in the dermis is type 1 collagen.
Dr. Raisa, is this collagen one of the reasons why some people have that youthful glow appearance that is associated a lot with beauty products?
Well, much of what we associate with youth can be attributed to collagen because it gives our skin suppleness and firmness. But what we should know is that beginning in our 20s, we start to see a decrease in collagen. In fact, 1% of our collagen is lost every year starting in our 20s.
So we'll talk more about that, the collagen in our skin later on. But marami, Dr. Charles, really don't notice kapag maganda ang collagen nila with all of this. But when there's a deficiency in collagen, what are some of the more prevalent symptoms that is noticed?
If you go to take it to the extreme, there are some genetic diseases that doesn't make your body form a proper collagen. Yung mga genetic diseases like your Marfan syndrome, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, you have laxity of the joints, you have brittleness of the bone. So this is extreme. But there's another extreme, the more common part of collagen deficiency, yung pag tumatanda na tayo, there's especially in the joints, in the cartilage, because of the wear and tear of our joints. There's also thinning of the cartilage. You start to have bone pains, you start to have joint pains, and that's the one that we see in the elderly.
Now, Dr. Charles, could you talk more about how is collagen naturally synthesized sa katawan ng isang tao?
They're made by fibroblasts, which are very found everywhere in our body. That's how the body makes the collagen. In the bones, in the tendons, when they break, they usually heal. But in the joints, they do not usually. Kaya in cartilage could be very difficult to treat kasi once they're destroyed, they don't heal by themselves. They don't get the natural state of the cartilage.
Dr. Riza, let's talk about the collagen in our skin. You mentioned at a certain age, that's when collagen starts to slow down in production. Are there any other reasons why this would happen aside from age or someone getting older?
Yes, there are several extrinsic factors which cause collagen breakdown. Some of these are stress, smoking, pollution, inadequate nutrition, or an unhealthy diet. And the number one cause of collagen breakdown in the skin is actually UV or ultraviolet or sun exposure. So unprotected sun exposure actually causes a lot of your collagen to break down. So the skin becomes, leathery or saggy. The skin is also thinned out. Wrinkles are more pronounced. There's also, of course, pigment irregularities with very sun-exposed skin.
Now, Dr. Charles, when it comes to our bones and muscles, what are some external factors that may contribute to the loss or the degradation of collagen production?
Collagen are naturally produced in our body. As long as our bones and muscles are healing, they should be okay. They should be present in our body. Once the joints, the cartilage is degenerated already, they don't heal like our bones and muscles.
Okay, when you talk about the cartilage in our joints when they don't heal, when they're injured, what are some of the things that we do? Some people may not notice that they're actually injuring the cartilage, that covering made out of collagen.
One of the result of having a denuded or a damaged cartilage, you can have arthritis. And the most common form of arthritis still is an osteoarthritis that we see especially among our elderly. So ang advice natin among patients with osteoarthritis is, number one, we want them to be active. So once you start being sedentary, magkakaroon ng stiffness ng joints natin. Get a proper diet and exercise, keeps your flexibility, keeps your mobility with the joints.
Now, collagen is vital for the health of every system in our body. When we come back, we'll talk about the food sources of collagen and the supplements. This is MedTalk Health Talk. We'll be right back. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and welcome back to MedTalk Health Talk, where caring is our calling. Now let's discuss some of the nutrients that can contribute to the natural synthesis of your collagen, or your body producing its own collagen. Dr. Riza, when it comes to a good diet that can address or not hasten the degradation of collagen in our skin, what kind of diet are we looking at?
A healthy, well-balanced diet is enough to give your body the building blocks to build its own natural collagen. No, sometimes we trick ourselves into thinking that we need fancy diets. No, we just need a really well-balanced diet, a diet that consists of good protein, because collagen is a protein, right? So we get our protein from sources such as fish, chicken, lean meats, also beans. Also, a part of the synthesis of collagen, the body needs vitamin C, zinc, and copper. So these can be found in fruits, vegetables, mineral-rich foods such as shellfish.
Since we're talking about our skin and the proper diet to keep our skin healthy, are there things, Dr. Riza, that our viewers should absolutely avoid?
Well, yes, I think so. Especially in recent years, there has been research into the effects of sugar being pro-inflammatory and aiding the glycation process, which helps to degrade collagen. No? So high sugar, high glycemic index food, lessen that.
Now, Dr. Charles, with regards to the diet naman for bone strength, joint strength, connective tissue strength, what can you advise our viewers?
It's actually very basic. No? You just have to have a balanced diet, a good diet, as long as you have the proper amino acids, the proper proteins, vitamin C and zinc, as Dr. Rice has mentioned, you're able to produce your own collagen. But the other important thing is also a proper exercise, because again, it's your muscles and bones have to be used so that they can gain strength. As long as you have a proper exercise, you put pressure in your muscles and bones, you can have a very strong muscle and bones. That same goes with the joint. No, our joint needs to be used in order for them to be healthy. Because once you don't use an inflamed joint, especially with arthritis, they become stiff and it decreases to weakening of the joints also.
Dr. Charles, you mentioned not using an inflamed joint such as someone with arthritis. How can someone with arthritis still continue to move that joint for its health, but at the same time try and minimize the pain associated with such?
The first is you have to know what's the cause of your arthritis. So there are many causes of arthritis. Still, the most common is osteoarthritis or the wear and tear. But as you mentioned, there are autoimmune diseases. You have gout. So you have to first zero in on the reason why you're having this arthritis. Once you figure out how to prevent the inflammation and pain, then you can start moving, because once you stop moving your joints, what will happen is become stiff and muscles and bones around it will weaken.
Okay, so very important, especially those who are feeling arthritis, to seek consult. Seek consult with your rheumatologist, with your orthopedic doctor to get proper treatment. Now, Dr. Riza, one of the latest trends, especially among Filipinos, is the use of dermal fillers, especially to address certain aesthetic features. Let's talk about the safety of this and when fillers normally used, and what is it used to address?
In general, dermal fillers are used to add volume, plump up the skin, improve skin structure, because as we age, collagen decreases. There's also bone resorption, so our bones get smaller actually. There's also fat loss in our faces. So as we get older, our faces tend to look more hollow, and dermal fillers help to address that concern.
Now, Dr. Charles, when it comes to our bones once again and joints, and we're talking about collagen loss or the need to replace collagen, can this be addressed solely on oral types of sources for collagen?
Major market nowadays. There are many different supplements in the market because, well, none of them really, as of now, they're still regarded as supplements. There's no real cure. If we're going to address the specific arthritis, some say that they help in arthritis, there's some evidence that they probably affect the inflammation itself rather than actually replacing your cartilage in your joints. Also, some say it's not actually replacing the cartilage in your joints. You're actually trying to enrich the fluid around the joints, but not really replacing the cartilage itself in our joints.
Dr. Charles, can trauma to the joints be cumulative over time? Are certain sports that have been played by when someone was younger sort of creep up when they become older? Sports that are hard on the knees, that are hard on the joints, can this be a cumulative factor later on in life?
That's actually correct. There's such a thing as traumatic arthritis. If you have a vehicular accident, for example, and your joints have been damaged, they can contribute to an early osteoarthritis. But that's also correct. Some athletes, especially those who have very high impact joint activities, they can have early onset arthritis also. So our advice usually is you have to have a variation of activity. So if you like running, you might want to do biking or swimming to lessen the impact on
How
our
important,
joints.
Dr. Charles, is recovery time also with regards to the health of our joints?
Recovery would entail that you let our body go, because if you have an intense activity, you have inflammation in our joints. Inflammation degrades cartilage. So we don't want that. We don't want further degradation for cartilage. Recovery, it lessens your inflammatory cytokines in your joints. That's why you want to recover so that there will be no further inflammation inside the joint, thus preventing further damage to your joints.
Now, age-related collagen loss is inevitable and it's part of growing old. But it is possible to slow down that process. When we return, we'll talk about how you can manage collagen loss. MedTalk Health Talk will be right back. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and this is MedTalk Health Talk, your partner in healthcare. So early on in the show, we mentioned that diet and other lifestyle factors can significantly affect your body's collagen production. Now, the effects of collagen supplements continue to be researched and debated. A word of caution when it comes to these supplements as well as other forms that tout that they are collagen enhancers. Let's talk about that, Dr. Riza. Many products are out there that say that collagen can be replaced with a topical form of product. Is this true?
Actually, that's one of the big misconceptions, that collagen can come in the form of a cream. There are a lot of creams containing collagen, but at best, they can moisturize your skin. The problem is because of the collagen, it's a big molecule. So usually if it's contained in a cream, it probably won't be absorbed into your skin. But we have other topical products that can help your body to stimulate collagen, such as retinoids, the vitamin A family, vitamin C, glycolic acid. There are other topicals that have effectively stimulated collagen.
Now, when it comes to tried and proven ways, are there any other procedures that would enhance someone's skin, be stimulated to produce more collagen?
Well, actually, yes, it's an exciting time now to be aging gracefully because there are a lot of non-invasive options in your doctor's office to stimulate collagen. Some of these, of course, you would best be in a discussion with your dermatologist or doctor as to what is best suited for you. But some of the options available now are, for example, microneedling, which is collagen induction, wherein you wound the skin with tiny needles, and that stimulates your body to produce collagen. Chemical peels also help. There are also lasers, laser treatments, a lot of laser treatments that can stimulate collagen. There are also non-laser devices such as radio frequency, high-intensity focused ultrasound that also help. Chemical peels also help. Dermal fillers, protein threads. There are a lot now.
But what is important for our viewers to understand is before you try any of these procedures, seek consult to your board-certified dermatologist for proper guidance and so they can show you what procedures can give you the maximum results. Now, Dr. Charles, with regards to collagen in our joints, connective tissues as well, many are asking, pwede ba itong ma-inject? Because there are a lot that say that collagen can be injected directly into the joints. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, actually, nowadays, we have injections in the joint. I think the most commonly used injection is the hyaluronic injection. It's actually a filler. So since your cartilage doesn't really heal that well, you put a hard gel inside the joint so that it will become a cushion in between your bones. And that kind of reduces the pain inside the joint.
What's the best way, Dr. Charles? What can you advise our viewers in how to protect their joints, how to keep their connective tissues healthy?
If you have a good nutrition, you have the proper amino acids, vitamin C, and zinc, you are able to produce your collagen in your body. In terms of the joint, always a proper exercise. So you don't want high impact activities so that you preserve the cartilage in your joint. So the low impact activities are swimming, walking, and biking. Maintain a proper exercise in your everyday activity.
Dr. Riza, let's remind our viewers again how to keep that skin healthy, how to keep that youthful glow, and what should they be wary about, especially when seeking products for their skin?
Well, for your skin, I think the number one thing that you can do to help maintain and keep your collagen is to use a daily sunscreen, avoid excessive sun exposure, because as we know, that's the number one cause of collagen degradation. Also, of course, maintain a healthy diet, reduce stress, don't smoke. If you're smoking, quit smoking. See your dermatologist for any in-office options that you would like to consider.
Thank you, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Charles Villamin and dermatologist Dr. Riza Francisco Pasion for being with us today and sharing your tips and expertise about collagen. Aging is a natural part of life, but it is understandable that some people would like to keep that youthful look. So as long as you have a proper diet, live a healthy lifestyle, and seek consultation with your board-certified dermatologist and your orthopedic surgeon, there's nothing wrong with wanting to look and feel good about yourself. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and thank you for watching Mental Health Talk. We'll see you again next time.